The Day the Mole Chose Sunshine, based on The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. Originally published 1908. Have you ever been in the middle of something perfectly sensible, something responsible, necessary, even virtuous, when suddenly, inexplicably, you simply cannot continue? When every fibre of your being rebels against one more moment of duty and something deeper calls you away. This is precisely what happens to the mole one spring morning in Kenneth Grahame's timeless classic. He's doing what moles are supposed to do, spring cleaning his underground home. There he is, whitewashing the walls, armed with brushes and buckets, dust flying everywhere, working with the grim determination of someone who has convinced themselves that this is exactly how they should spend a glorious spring day. But spring has other ideas. It begins subtly, a whisper of warmth seeping down through the tunnel, the faintest suggestion of something green and growing above. The mole tries to ignore it, dipping his brush back into the whitewash, focusing on the task at hand. But spring is persistent. It doesn't shout or demand. It simply beckons with the irresistible pull of sunshine and fresh air, of meadows waking from their winter sleep, of a world being reborn just beyond his dark little home. And then something snaps. Without quite knowing why, the mole throws down his brush. "Hang spring cleaning," he declares to no one in particular. And suddenly he's scrambling upward through the narrow passages, digging with frantic energy, bursting through the surface like a cork from a bottle. The sunlight hits him with the force of revelation. After months underground, the world above is almost unbearably beautiful. The meadow grass is alive beneath his paws. The air smells of earth and growing things. The sky, that vast, impossible blue, stretches overhead like a promise. The mole finds himself intoxicated by sheer existence, by the simple, profound joy of being alive in this moment, on this particular spring day. He wanders in a daze of happiness, drinking in every sensation, the warmth on his fur, the birdsong, the way the light plays on leaves. Eventually, his wanderings bring him to something he's never seen before. A river. Not a trickle or a stream, but a real river, sleek and sinuous, full of purpose and mystery. He stands at its bank, mesmerized. The water speaks to him in voices he's never heard, singing of faraway places, of adventure, of a life larger than whitewashing walls could ever be. And then he sees the rat. The water rat emerges from a little hole in the bank, and from that moment, the mole's life changes forever. Here is a creature perfectly at home in this bright world above ground, who treats the river as his highway and playground, who lives by different rules than the ones the mole has always known. When the rat invites him aboard his little boat, "It's never the wrong time for messing about in boats," he says. The mole doesn't hesitate. What follows is an afternoon of pure enchantment, drifting on the river, learning to row, sharing a picnic, discovering that friendship can bloom as suddenly and naturally as spring flowers. The mole, who only hours before was trapped in domestic drudgery, finds himself part of something infinitely larger, a world of water and wind, of companionship and possibility. Grahame captures something essential here about the moments that redirect our lives. They rarely arrive with fanfare or warning. They come disguised as impulse, as restlessness, as that strange compulsion to throw down the brush and see what lies beyond the walls we've built for ourselves. The mole's decision to abandon his spring cleaning is really a decision to abandon a smaller life for a larger one, to choose wonder over routine, to trust that the voice calling him upward is wiser than the voice telling him to stay below. First published in 1908, The Wind in the Willows begins with this act of spontaneous rebellion, a reminder that sometimes the most important thing we can do is stop doing what we're supposed to do and follow that persistent whisper towards sunshine, rivers, and the friends we haven't met yet. The question Grahame poses is simple but profound. What might be waiting for us if we're brave enough to throw down the brush?